Hello guys, this is Mike from McProgramming.org. In this video I'm going to talk to you guys about floats and doubles. And these types in mathematical terms are just real numbers, which means they have decimal points. And I'll give you an example real quick. For instance, pi, that's a real number. It's 3.14 and infinite amount of numbers afterwards, and you can store that as a float or a double. But what a float is a 32-bit storage size, and let me pull up this little diagram I wrote real quick. So the range for floats is 1.2 e to the negative 38, so we have negative numbers, so this is signed, to 3.4 to the 38th power. So that's a huge range of numbers. And this way you have a lot of decimal values that you can put in there. And a double is pretty much the same thing as a float. It's actually called a double precision float, but it's double the size. It's a 64-bit storage size. So it's up to you if you think that the variable or whatever you're working with can be stored in a double or a float, declared as a float. But if there's any concerns that it may go over into the double range, you may want to use that. So it's up to the programmer. Efficiency is a thing you need to look at, but just to show you how to declare them and run them real quick, I'll show you. So the way we write this is float, and we can say GPA equals 3.567. Okay, and we know this will work. Let's just double check. We will print out GPA to the screen. I have my console open over here from earlier, so now let's run it, and it printed it correctly. And let's see what happens if we just have a 3. Gotta exit out of this again. Okay, so I put a 3 in there. Let's run that. And we get a 3. So it does handle ints as well. Let's see what else can we do. And pretty much double is the same thing. Double GPA equals, let's give ourselves a 4.0 if we want to print out, whoops, let me say GPA 2. Let's print that out. Okay, so we got a 4, so I guess it gets rid of the 0.0. And this allows us to do, let's say, to get a GPA, let's not initialize it. And let's declare some ints up here. So let's say int classes equals, I'm taking 5 classes, and let's say that when I added up all my 4s for A's, 3s for B's, and so on, let's say I don't know, points total equals, say 16 to make sure I'm getting a decimal. Let's see what happens if we say, if we cast this to an int and we say GPA equals points total divided by classes. Alright, get rid of that 2. Let's print that out. Okay, we got 3, and the reason is because ints they only hold integer values, which are whole numbers. So how do we get to declare these as ints, but we want a fractional number? We can set this to float, but we're still going to have a problem. So let's run that, and we still get a 3. And the reason is both of these types right here are ints, so it's going to say 16 divided by 5, so that goes in 3 times with the remainder of 1, but that remainder is thrown away because we're dealing with ints. And then this is GPA can take in floats, but this arithmetic right here is just going to return an int value. So what we need to do is cast this to a float, and now we can run it. and we get 3.2. So that is a cool thing that we can use to change ints into decimals if you need to cast something. I'll probably do a video more specifically on casting later, but that's pretty much what you do with floats. And doubles are the same thing, they just hold twice the size. So that's up to the programmer, and that is how you use doubles and floats. Thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe below.